Hello my dear learners, I welcome you all to the second module of the online course on Introduction to Distance and Digital Education. In a previous module, we have already discussed about the relevance of quality assurance in distance education. And now here in this module, we will discuss about the regulations for quality assurance in distance education. We will discuss about the parameters, frameworks and guidelines designed, set and amended by different bodies of higher education. Dear learners, the main objectives of this module are to explain the relevance of quality concerns in open and distance education, to explain the external and internal quality assurance in reference to open and distance learning, and also to identify and to discuss the mechanisms to regulate the quality issues in distance education. Now let us have some introduction to the module. The evolution of education from a closed elitist system to a more inclusive model, particularly with the rise of open and distance learning ODL institutions since the second half of 20th century, has indeed brought about significant changes in the landscape of higher education. Quality assurance in ODL involves several aspects like curriculum and instructional designs, teaching and learning strategies, student support services, assessment and evaluation, quality assurance mechanisms, and regulatory compliances. In this module, we shall explore some of the relevant issues to meet predefined criteria for quality and effectiveness in open and distance learning in India, focusing on the regulations and related regulatory bodies. Now, what constitutes quality in ODL? Distance education institutions employ various models for developing courses and curriculum across the world. The course team model, embraced by leading institutions like the UKOU, UK Open University, Athabasca University and Deakin University, involves collaborations among experts from diverse fields such as subject matter experts, instructional designers, media specialists, editors, and graphic artists to develop courses. Similarly, the author contract model practiced by Fern University in Germany entrusts course development to individual teachers or groups, allowing for focused and specialized content creation. In India, Premier ODL Institute IGNOU follows a model that involves a committee of subject experts, media personnel, graphic artists, and editors to settle course content and structure. The base teachers and subject specialists are invited to write course material, which is then transformed into self-learning formats. Delivery mechanism is also crucial in ODL. It employs to disseminate course materials is central to the success of distance education programs. Recognizing the evolving landscape, institutions supplement print materials with non-print resources like audio-video programs and satellite-based instructions, with institutions like IGNOU pioneering satellite-delivered education in India. Beyond course development and delivery, student services also play a pivotal role in nurturing successful distance learning experiences. Dear learners, administrative support services streamline processes such as enrollment, distribution of learning materials, and technology setup, ensure learners or students have access to necessary resources in ODL. Now coming to quality assurance in ODL institutions. Basically, quality assurance aspects of ODL institutions particularly focuses on program development, curriculum design, delivery mechanism, and student services. Let us now discuss the matters related to program development processes. Clear objectives for each program, including target groups, industry linkages, skill development, and job opportunities are significant here. Methods of development could be in-house or involve collaborations with external entities. Emphasis on program flexibility, including entry and exit points, timing, and course selections are also relevant here. Provisions for horizontal mobility, credit transfer, and accumulation should also be taken care of under program development processes. Quality assurance is also related to curriculum development and instructional design. Programs are designed based on needs assessment involving external experts and agencies. Coverage of content aligns with expected outcomes and standards is necessary. approval from regulatory authorities is obtained, and considerations of learner-friendly instructional design and support, currency of curriculum, and integration of theory with practice should be encouraged and ensured. Delivery mechanism is the most significant aspect of quality assurance. Print materials vary among institutions, but they should maintain quality in presentation and instructional design. Non-print materials such as audio and video lessons are increasingly being used, with some institutions investing in sophisticated production facilities. Emphasis on the use of technology, including satellite-linked networks for broadcasting educational contents, can be noticed here. Finally, student services are also important for quality assurance in ODL. Learner support services, including tutorial support and academic counseling, are crucial for student success. Accessibility of information and feedback mechanisms for assignments and project work contribute to a positive learning experience. Now let us discuss quality assurance and organizational mechanisms. Assessment of quality in distance education involves evaluating the critical elements. There is a need for agencies and mechanisms to assess and ensure the quality of distance education provision. Institutional commitment to quality management and organizational change is vital for sustaining excellence in ODL. Dear learners, now we'll discuss about the internal and external quality assurance measures, regulations, and also agencies for ODL institutions. Let us first discuss about internal quality assurance. Internal quality assurance in open and distance learning institutions is a critical facet of ensuring the credibility and effectiveness of their educational offerings. Developing robust internal mechanism for quality assurance within ODL institutions is very significant. Key components of internal quality assurance typically include curriculum development and review. Institutions should regularly review and update their curricula to ensure relevance, currency, alignment with educational objectives, industry standards, and societal needs. This process involves assessing course content, learning outcomes, instructional methods, and assessment of strategies. Teaching and learning practices is also significant. Institutions monitor teaching and learning practices, observing classroom instruction, collecting student feedback, conducting peer evaluations, and providing professional development opportunities for faculties. Internal quality assurance process include the development and implementation of assessment methods to measure student learning outcomes and program effectiveness. Institutions utilize a variety of assessment tools such as exams, projects, portfolios, and performance evaluations to gauge students' progress and program success. Institutions provide comprehensive support services to address the diverse needs of students and promote academic success. These may include academic advising, counseling, tutoring, career services, accessibility accommodations, and extracurricular activities. Internal quality assurance of ODL encompasses the management of institutional resources, including facilities, technology, library resources, and administrative support services. Finally, internal quality assurance is a continuous process that involves ongoing reflection, evaluation, and improvement. ODL institutions must proactively engage in self-reflection and self-improvement to meet the dynamic demands of distance education and ensure the delivery of high-quality learning experiences to learners. While internal quality assurance is very crucial in ODL, external are also equally important, especially in countries like India, where many academic institutions take years to revise their curricula or syllabus and yet do not feel themselves answerable for such delays or inaction. Although there are no dedicated quality assurance agencies in the field of higher education in India, here we will discuss the domain of external quality assurance with emphasis on Distance Education Council, that is DEC, ODL Regulation 2017 and ODL Regulation 2020, and NAAC parameters, and also Commonwealth of Learning Review and Improvement Model, which is also known as COLRIM. Let us first discuss about DEC. The Distance Education Council (DEC) was a pivotal organization in India responsible for overseeing and regulating distance education initiatives across the country. Established in 1991 under the Indira Gandhi National Open University Act, the DEC played a crucial role in formulating policies, guidelines and standards to ensure the quality of distance education programs and institutions. One of its primary objectives was to develop a robust accreditation framework to assess the quality of distance learning institutions and programs. The DEC spearheaded efforts to create detailed guidelines and criteria covering various aspects of distance education provision, including program design, delivery, assessment methods, learner support services, and infrastructure requirements. Despite its efforts to enforce accreditation as a mandatory process, the Distance Education Council or DEC faced challenges related to legal uncertainties and jurisdictional conflicts which impeded its progress. In 2012, the Ministry of Human Resource Development (MHRD) issued an order transferring the regulatory authority of distance education from DEC and IGNOU to UGC. As per the order, IGNOU dissolved the DEC and the UGC took over the entire assets and manpower of DEC and established the Distance Education Bureau or DEB. Nonetheless, my dear learners, the efforts and contributions of the DEC have left a lasting impact on the development and regulations of distance education in India, shaping the landscape of higher education and expanding access to learning opportunities for millions of students across the country. Now coming to ODL Regulation 2017. The quality assurance provisions outlined in the Part 3 of Regulations number 8 of the UGC Open and Distance Learning Regulations of 2017 require higher education institutions or the ACIs offering programs in the ODL mode to adhere to certain specific guidelines. These are the establishment of a Center for Internal Quality Assurance. ACIs must establish a dedicated Center for Internal Quality Assurance within 1 year of the regulation's enforcement. Institutions must follow quality assurance guidelines provided by the UGC or authorized agencies covering aspects such as learning materials, human resources, curriculum, and pedagogy. These guidelines must be posted on the institution's website. HCIs should provide regular training and capacity building opportunities for teaching and administrative staff as well as the counselors. The quality of ODL programs must be maintained at par with standards in conventional classroom teaching. Only degrees specified under Section 22 of the UGC Act may be awarded. HCIs may offer certificate, diploma or postgraduate diploma programs subject to approval by relevant statutory authorities. Professional programs are also permissible if approved by the respective regulatory authorities before the commencement of the course. HCIs must display approval letters from regulatory authorities on their website and in institutional brochures and bulletins. They must also inform the UGC of any relevant updates. Academic and instructional facilities at learner support centers as well as online resources must meet UGC guidelines and cater to program requirements and enrollments. Further, ODL Regulation 2017 also incorporated few guidelines for preparing quality self-learning materials for learners, clear objective learning outcomes and guidance in SLM. SLM should have clearly stated objectives, learning outcomes, study guidance, and references for learners. Digital SLM should maintain linkages with other media. Comprehensibility and manageability of the SLM is also important. SLM should be self-explanatory, illustrative, comprehensive, and presented in manageable modules. Adequate feedback mechanism is significant. Adequate mechanism for learner feedback should be incorporated into SLM. SLM should be periodically revised to improve quality and support for learners. Annexure 8 of the regulation elaborately stated the guidelines to prepare SLM. ODL Regulation 2017 stated that HCIs must prepare SLM only after the approval of the program project report or the PPR. And no ODL program should be launched without the preparation of SLM meeting the specified criteria. ODL Regulation 2020 said a higher education institution shall plan, implement, coordinate and monitor operationalization and quality assurance of the programs in open and distance learning mode and or online mode and shall ensure adherence to the regulations and guidelines of the Commission and other regulatory authorities. Again, in the part 3 of the regulation number 10 emphasized on quality assurance. Like the ODL Regulation 2017, it put emphasis on adherence to quality assurance guidelines by HCIs, regular training and capacity building initiatives, maintaining quality standards similar to conventional modes of teaching, disclosure of approval letters in website, brochure and bulletins, facilities and resources for ODL as per guideline of regulatory authorities. Apart from that, my dear learners, establishment of a Center for Internal Quality Assurance (CIQA) was a significant point of entry here. It says HCIs offering programs in ODL or online mode must establish a CIQA which is common for such programs. The CIQA is responsible for ensuring quality assurance in various aspects of program delivery. HCIs offering programs in ODL or online mode must adhere to all provisions regarding the mandatory disclosure under Regulation 9. These regulations aim to ensure quality, transparency and compliance with established standards in the delivery of ODL and online mode programs offered by HCIs. The Distance Education Council or the DEC had previously undertaken measures for accrediting distance education institutions. These measures mirrored the accreditation processes established by other agencies such as NAAC, National Assessment and Accreditation Council, and NBA, National Board of Accreditation. While the UGC has set general guidelines for distance education, it has granted IGNOU exceptions to maintain its own standards, recognizing its unique position and contribution to the field. However, IGNOU's recent move to implement internal quality mechanisms and seek accreditations from the National Assessment and Accreditation Council (NAAC) reflects a broader commitment to ensure quality within the ODL system. In such a situation, the quality assurance parameters set by NAAC makes a significant entry in the deliberation on quality assurance in ODL. There are three concepts of quality assurance in higher education as per NAAC guideline mentioned in the Quality Management System in Higher Education, a handbook published by NAAC. Objective concept of quality, which include an instrumental measurement of quality, a methodology that should be used which is acceptable to all based on inputs, processes and outputs which should ultimately relate to the fitness of purpose. The third aspect is the evolutionary concept of quality, which is part of the internal culture of institutions. NAAC was established in 1994 with the primary objectives of quality assessment, sustenance and enhancement in higher education institutions. Its methodology has evolved over the time, but the main criteria for evaluation has remained consistent. NAAC evaluates higher education institutions based on 7 key areas or parameters. The first one is curricular aspects. This criterion examines the relevance, effectiveness and responsiveness of the curriculum to the needs of the students and society. Teaching, learning and evaluation is the second criterion. NAAC assesses the methods, processes and outcomes of teaching and learning activities, including the effectiveness of evaluation procedures. The third criterion focuses on the institution's efforts in promoting research culture, fostering innovation and engaging in extension activities for societal benefit. Infrastructure and learning resources are the fourth criteria of NAAC. NAAC evaluates the adequacy and functionality of physical infrastructure, facilities and learning resources available to support teaching, learning and research activities. My dear learners, student support and progression is also a criteria for NAAC. This criteria assesses the institution's support services and initiatives aimed at facilitating student progression, retention and overall well-being. Governance, leadership and management is also significant for NAAC. NAAC evaluates the effectiveness, institutional governance structure, leadership practices and management systems in promoting academic and administrative excellence. Institutional values and best practices are also important. This criterion examines the promotion of ethical values, inclusivity, diversity and the adoption of best practices in various aspects of institutional functioning. In the context of ODL, my dear learners, the 7 key areas are tailored to accommodate the unique features of distance education, focusing on aspects like flexibility of curriculum delivery, robustness of learning technologies, support mechanisms for remote learners, innovation in content delivery, effective student progression tracking, sound management of distance learning operations, and promotion of inclusive practices. Now, my dear learners, let us discuss about QOLRIM, that is an external measure for quality assessment. The Commonwealth of Learning's Review and Improvement Model, or the QOLRIM, represents a paradigm shift in how post-secondary institutions approach quality assurance. Unlike traditional models, the QOLRIM emphasizes a dynamic and continuous process of self-assessment and improvement. My dear learners, key principles of QOLRIM includes dynamic and continuous self-assessment and improvement, quality as an emergent property, culture of openness, transparency, and collaboration. By fostering a culture of openness, transparency, and collaboration, the QOLRIM enables institutions to adapt and evolve in response to changing needs and expectations. One of the key goals of the QOLRIM is the integration of internal and external quality assurance mechanisms. By combining these approaches, institutions can benefit from a comprehensive evaluation process that not only enhances credibility but also fosters staff development and capacity building. Moreover, the QOLRIM emphasizes the importance of stakeholder engagement and authenticity in the quality assurance process. Institutions are encouraged to actively involve internal and external stakeholders in discussions about their needs and concerns, thus ensuring that quality assurance activities are relevant and meaningful to all parties involved. In implementing the QOLRIM, institutions are guided by high-level evaluative questions that focus on critical aspects of their operations. These questions serve as a framework for self-review and improvement, allowing institutions to identify areas for enhancement and chart a course for future development. Additionally, the QOLRIM promotes a fact-based approach to decision-making, where performance indicators and evidence-based practices from judgment about improving quality. This emphasis on data-driven decision-making ensures that institutions have a clear understanding of their strengths and weaknesses and can take targeted actions to drive improvement. Furthermore, the QOLRIM recognizes the importance of leadership and organizational culture in fostering a quality-driven environment. Strong and visionary leadership is essential for implementing coherent strategy and driving cultural changes across the institution. By embedding self-review as a regular activity and planning tool, institutions can cultivate a culture of continuous improvement where openness, transparency, and accountability are valued. Through these efforts, the QOLRIM aims to empower institutions to meet the diverse needs of their stakeholders and achieve excellence in higher education. So, now we have come to the end of the third module of week 9. This module highlights quality assurance in open and distance learning institutions, covering internal and external mechanisms, regulations, and agencies like NAAC and the QOLRIM model. In the next two modules of the week, my dear learners, we shall discuss about assessment in distance education and learners' portfolio particularly. Till then, keep reading and keep studying. See you again. Bye-bye.